Pride, confidence, extraordinary talent. They're the signature of a superstar performer. Add arrogance, conceit, self-adulation to the equation, and you've defined the very essence of Shawn Michaels.
Nobody tells me what to do.
For 2 months, the self-proclaimed master antagonist has launched a calculated and brutal war of destruction on the phenom of the World Wrestling Federation.
I made you taste your blood once. You are gonna taste it again.
And like hyenas rabid from the scent of a fresh kill, his pack of allies have been quick to join the slaughter.
We came, we saw, and we kicked the dead man's ass.
But tonight, within the unforgiving confines of a specially constructed steel cell, the cocksure tormentor will become the tormented. Tonight, Shawn Michaels will stare into the eyes of a merciless reaper, hell-bent on revenge. There'll be no helmsman, no China, no insurance policy to save his soul. Tonight, there's no way in, no way out, no one to stop the carnage.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 49. It's episode 49 of Warring Attitude. I almost completely forgot, but now I remember. I am your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, if I were to Attitude in 1997, he is the barroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than Saka is at my house. He's at GA Wrestling at Glenn. Glenn, how you doing?
I'm not more over than Saka is in my house.
You're probably right. You're probably not that over.
I'm okay, thank you.
That's good to know. I'm glad to hear that you're doing okay.
No, we're all happy with our results at the weekend, so...
Yes, we didn't come to this thing alone. Since it's in your house, Bad Blood, and the debut of Kane, our main man, Dan Griffin, said, you got to let me on this thing. I've got to be on here. And we said, absolutely, sir. Dan, we're happy with our team's football. I know you're happy with your team's football this weekend, so why don't you go ahead and gloat a little bit.
I am absolutely ecstatic. Klopp's kids took out the blue billionaire bottle jobs of Chelsea. And I get to talk wrestling with you guys. It's a perfect couple of days. Thanks for having me back.
I think it's absolutely hilarious that it was basically Virgil and the second team for Arsenal, and Chelsea still couldn't score a goal. I find that hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you have a cultured football club that's been rebuilt in the image of a great manager compared to spunking £1 billion up a wall because Todd Bowley thought he was putting together an NFL roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to, pretty good analogy there. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I think it really shows to the strength of, you know, what your guys' manager has been doing, that you could have that many injuries. Like, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. When they started listing the injuries in the pregame, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I was like that before the game.
I bet you were.
It's amazing. If you take Arsenal's basic starting lineup and Liverpool, what they started with on Sunday, and the average age is 22. And yet, top second or third in the league. It is amazing.
Yeah. Jaden Dance came on.
The only one that's
Jaden
up there with them is the other team that bloody bought himself a team.
Yeah. But I just have to say, Jaden Dance came on. Before that game, he had played 1 minute of senior football. And he spent about 30 minutes just terrorizing the Chelsea defense up front. Yeah. It was beautiful.
It was. Me and Glenn are Arsenal fans, so we don't usually cheer for Liverpool. But when they're playing Chelsea, and Chelsea's such such shithousery, it's just a lot of fun to make fun of them and laugh at them.
It really is. And I'm sorry about that deeply offensive image that I sent you guys. That I found on Twitter. The Arsenal and Tottenham logos combined.
It had to be a Tottenham bloody supporter that did that, didn't it?
It was an Arsenal fan.
No, it wasn't. It was a Tottenham. In his handle, it had THFC. So.
I know. I was just winding you up, Glenn.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. That's the one of the. I literally, Dan's like, I got something that'll make you guys want to throw up, and I'm like, oh God, what is it? Then he sent it to me, and I was like, oh God, I am gonna throw up.
What was it? Somebody in the comments said, "Get that fucking chicken off our cannon."
Yeah. I'm not on Twitter, but if I'd have saw that, I would have fucking commented, "The fuck we are." The fuck we are together, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've told Glenn this, but I follow a guy on Instagram, and he has 2 bulldogs, and he has taught his youngest bulldog to go absolutely mad anytime he says Tottenham, and he will just fuck with him and go, "Oh, all the fans online are saying that you're a Tottenham supporter," and the dog will fucking start going apeshit. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. I love it. Yeah, but anyway, we usually talk a little football before we get into the wrestling, and we have talked a little bit of the football. We are now going to jump into the wrestling. It's In Your House, Bad Blood. It took place on October the 5th, 1997 at the Kiel Center in St. Louis, Missouri. The Kiel Center, which is now known as the Enterprise Center, opened in 1994. Do not confuse it with the Kiel Auditorium, which was a big wrestling, mainstay in the NWA days for Wrestling at the Chase. That's a whole different arena. This was built in it's a new Kiel Center. Well, it was new in 1994. It's not new now. It is a home to the St. Louis Blues of the National Hockey League. And I, of course, am a Chicago Blackhawks fan, and they are my team's most hated rival. So I would like to just go out here and say, fuck the St. Louis Blues. I just want to put that out there and say that right as we get into this. This has held many. I'm sorry, Glenn, you got something to say?
No.
I'm sorry. I thought you said something you want to go. It has held many WF/E pay-per-views over the years, including the 1998 Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble in 2012, Money in the Bank in 2017, and it also held the 1,000th episode of Monday Night Raw in 2012. And but this was the first, and it also had the Raw earlier this year on February the 5th, 2024. Raw took place from this arena. And if you happen to find yourself in St. Louis, Missouri on March the 12th, which is coming up here pretty soon, you can head on down to the Kiel Center here and see Olivia Rodrigo on March the 12th. You guys ever heard of Olivia Rodrigo?
I've heard the name, but I'm not sure why.
She's a singer. She sings, in my opinion, not very good music, but the teeny boppers seem to love her. So, or if you're into country music, maybe you guys are into a little bit of American country music, you can go down and see Tim McGraw on March the 22nd. Have you guys ever heard of Tim McGraw?
Yes.
Nope.
Well, thank God you haven't. Don't look him up, Glenn. Don't look him up, Dan. Don't look him up. But if you're not into that, and you can't make it there until after the springtime, in the springtime of May 7th, you can go see Stevie Nicks. Have you guys heard of Stevie Nicks?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, I figured. That's why I threw that one in there at the end, because I figured that y'all had heard of Stevie Nicks. Or July the 25th, you can head on down there and see Barry Manilow live in concert. You guys know Barry Manilow?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, sadly.
I figured.
They've let him out of the Coca Cabana again, have they?
Oh, is that him? Does he sing the Coca Cabana?
Yeah.
All right. I did not know that, but I only know like Barry Manilow from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because Carlton used to always talk about Barry Manilow. Otherwise, I don't know anything about him. I don't know none of his songs. Are you familiar with the
skit?
Oh, is that a Family Guy skit?
Yeah, with when they're all like, "Oh, look, Barry Manilow's coming to Quahog. Well, we should go there as a group," and it turns out they're all secret, massive Manilow fans.
Oh yeah.
And Quagmire sat on stage, just goggle-eyed, just.
Yeah.
Yeah, they picked Quagmire out of the crowd to sing to him, right?
Yeah.
It's all coming back. Coming back to me now. So let's talk about the buy rate for this pay-per-view here. This took place in, of course, October of 1997, and it got, I had it, now I lost it. Bad Blood, 186,000 buys, which is a 0.60 buy rate. It is up about 50,000 buys from Ground Zero, but way down from SummerSlam. They got 235,000 buys. Now, in comparison to that, let's look at what WCW Halloween Havoc did this month of 1997. And it did slightly better, 405,000 buys, which is a 1.10 buy rate. So they did slightly better.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
In fairness, though, like Bad Blood is obviously kind of like a throwaway pay-per-view because it's not one of the major pay-per-views, and Halloween Havoc is like almost like their WrestleMania, or you could say their SummerSlam. Yeah. So it would make sense that it would get a lot more buys than a Bad Blood pay-per-view, you know what I mean? But yeah, we did get some somber news as we come into the pay-per-view. We find out that they found Brian Pillman passed away in his hotel room shortly before the pay-per-view came on the air. So that was a little bit of sad news. Either one of you guys watched this live? Do you remember?
No, I didn't. I was 8 years old.
I think I did, but I can't. I obviously remembered the end of it, but I couldn't remember the pay-per-view match.
So I was like 14 at this time. I was in the 7th grade, and we used to all go over to my friend's house to watch all the pay-per-views together. So I distinctly remember this, and I remember us all, and this is cold-hearted now, but I want to put it in context that we were all teenagers, and we laughed because we thought this was all a big joke and that Brian Pillman was going to show up on WCW next week. So we're like, oh yeah, sure he's dead. We believe you. Just
like most of the ICW now, RWC now.
Oh,
yeah, they just said on Saturday, somebody passed away during the night. They would have all been on there going, oh yeah, it's a work. He'll be on AEW next.
I've seen some fuckwits saying that Roman Reigns' leukemia is an angle.
Oh yeah, they've been saying that since it fucking happened. They're like, oh, they only did it to get him over. And then I remember people being like, I want to see his medical records. As if you're fucking entitled to that, you fucking cunt. I'm going to be the first one to say it. You're a cunt.
How many times have I said it on here now? I've got leukemia. It doesn't affect my day-to-day life, apart from it makes me a bit tired occasionally.
Right.
It's not, when it gets to the final stages, it's life-threatening. But you can control it. And somebody that's as fit as he is, can control it easily. But it does make it understandable why he's off TV so often. Because you get good days and you get bad days.
Yeah. But you've got these idiots out there who are thicker than a whale omelette just talking all sorts of shit in it.
All with their medical degrees.
That's my favorite thing about the internet. Everybody's a lawyer. Everybody's a doctor. Everybody's got a medical degree. Everybody's went to law school. We're all promoters. Shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. I get wound up on the internet all the time because it's like, sometimes it's like you state an opinion and someone comes at you like so aggressive when all you simply did was state an opinion. Like, why would you be that mad at me because I said I don't like the way Shinsuke Nakamura does a fucking kick to the head? That's just an example. But that's just a fucking opinion. Like, why is that anything to get angry or jump down somebody's throat about?
They all take it so personally. It's a TV show, for Christ's sake.
It's because they've got all the intellect of a deep-fried testicle.
Yeah.
You guys eat deep-fried testicles over in the UK, or is that just something weird that we do in the Midwest?
I just plucked a method of cooking in a body part out of my head. I didn't want to use the descriptor that I'm going to use later on because I've been saving it all day.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was the first one to say it. Who thought the American guy would be the first one to say it?
Oh, no, I'll be saying cunt a lot. I mean, I've got something else lined up.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
I have sampled bull testicle in batter.
They call them Rocky Mountain oysters here, and they have a whole thing called the Testicle Festival. I've never been there. I'll never go there, but lots of people go. I don't like balls in my mouth, though. But if you do, whatever. Whatever you like.
Other sweetmeats. It's not nothing.
That festival sounds a load of bollocks.
Because there's the old joke, the bloke's in a Spanish restaurant, and he sees this big plate come up with rice and big meatballs on it. And he said to the waiter, "What's that?" He said, "Senor, that is bull's testicles." He said, "Well, I'll have a try of them." So the waiter goes away. He comes back, and he's got these little 3 things on there that look like ping pong tennis balls. And the bloke goes, "What's this? There's nothing." No. He says, "Sometimes, senor, the bullet wins."
That's good. I'd never heard that one, Glenn. That's not the joke I've ever heard before. Anyway, we'll get off our soapbox now to stop bitching about the internet wrestling community, and we will stop talking about bull testicles. And we'll talk about the very first match of the evening, which was the Nation of Domination conceiving.
I bet nobody had that on their bingo card. Because one of the things we'll be talking about.
No, I bet bull testicles on a wrestling podcast about the 1997 WWF didn't. Who knew balls were going to get involved in it? But here we are. So yeah, the Nation of Domination. We got The Rock, D'Lo Brown, and Kama. They're supposed to be taking on LOD and Ken Shamrock, but they tell us that Shamrock will not be wrestling tonight. So LOD is going to go 1-on-1. 3-on-2 against the Nation of Domination.
We said this last week. I wish they would make their mind up about Ken Shamrock. 1 minute he's spitting up blood, and the next minute he's fighting Vader in Japan. Now, what is it? Which is it?
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
First one, then the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I understand if he got hurt but they were telling me 2 weeks before he was hurt, and then you're telling me last Sunday he had a fucking martial arts cage match with Vader in Japan. I'm like, well, he must not be too injured.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're making it up as they go along.
It's almost as if this is all bullshit, Dan. I can't believe it.
Well, I'll tell you what was bullshit. Vince talking over the Road Warrior pop.
Oh, God, yeah.
Fucking wanker. So it's a natural reaction now. Vince's name and fucking wankers and swearing happens.
You do that. You do that before LOD come out. As you open the show, you don't do it with it.
Yeah. There's something that he does too later in the show that I thought maybe would be better if he would have just laid out and let it breathe. And it's kind of the same thing here. Yeah. It's the Road Warriors. Why would you talk while they're coming out and the crowd's going? That's just,
yeah.
You would think if that was someone else and he was on the headset, he'd be screaming at them, God damn it, shut up while the crowd's going crazy, you dumbass. What's wrong with you? But he's out here fucking, oh, God, there you go. And then from there, fucking, luckily for us, this is Vince's last head commentator role on a pay-per-view. We won't hear him anymore after this. He is done with this after this. So that's good news. So I thought this match was one of the better matches on the show. I mean, it was hard hitting. It had a quick pace. I didn't think there was too much gaga in it. What'd you think, Dan?
It didn't outstay its welcome, unlike certain matches that we'll see, but it was exactly what you want from a Legion of Doom match. It was big, meaty men slapping meat. They're just absolute fucking powerhouses. Everything that Hawk did, even right down to a hip toss, looked fucking brutal. Mm-hmm. And same for Animal. It was exactly what it needed to be. It got the crowd hot without sort of tearing up any trees.
Then what was your favorite part of the match is that the Nation of Domination actually won a match by pinfall?
Yes, and we saw the first rock bottom, and it didn't even get acknowledged.
Oh yeah, you're right. They didn't acknowledge it, did it? Yeah, he did. He did do a rock bottom. I can't remember what happened. Somebody like hit somebody with something, and then they like kind of stumbled into a rock bottom. I can't remember.
Faarooq was. They were fighting outside the ring. There was a big interference outside the ring, as always with the Legion, with the Nation.
Yeah,
and LOD managed to get on top. Hawk lays waste to everybody, and then sets up Rocky for the Doomsday device. But Faarooq manages to get Animal's attention. Dumps him to the floor. So they can't do the Doomsday device. Rocky comes down. Hulk, rock bottom, pin.
Yeah, it was Kama that kicked Hawk in the back of the head.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, kicked him in the back of the head and he hit the rock bottom. Yeah. So the Nation actually gets a pinfall victory here. There was one point in the match, though, when The Rock I think he had Animal down the corner and he started like laying some kicks on Animal in the corner. And I don't know if you ever saw, like in the original Women's Royal Rumble match, Sasha Banks was laying like some very soft kicks into Lita in the corner. And that's what these Rock's kick reminded me of. They reminded me of those Sasha Banks kicks, which was a little bit laughable because he was like kicking, but not like doing any damage whatsoever. It looked like he was more placing his foot on his stomach than actually kicking him. But hey,
did you catch when Rock just punched Animal square in the dick?
I must have missed that.
Just straight right, boff right in the penis.
Yeah.
In fairness, if I had to fire Hawk, I'm punching him in the dick too. same season. So.
And of course, it being LOD, he no sold it.
Yeah.
Which is even more terrifying. Imagine that. You think, I'm going to punch this big guy in the dick. That ought to stop him. And then he just keeps coming forward. Oh,
reminded me of Deadpool when he punches Colossus in the dick and he just looks, your poor wife.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably what it would be like, too. So, yeah, a pretty solid first opening match. I didn't have high hopes for it when I knew what the first match was, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And the Nation finally gets a pinfall victory because they usually win by DQ or get counted out or lose by DQ. They never get pinned or something.
There's always interference normally. So, yeah, to not have the ring invaded and get a DQ, then it was refreshing.
Yeah. So then we go back to they got Sunny. She's on the superstar line with Doc Hendricks.
Oh, God. She was all over poor Doc there. Well, she was all over him like a bad suit.
Which he was wearing a bad suit as well.
Yes.
As well, yeah.
I was just going to say, which is ironic because he had one.
He's terrified. You can see in his eyes, he is terrified of being that close to Sunny. And he doesn't quite know how far the camera is out because that man does not want to have an erection on television.
Yeah. You could really tell. It was like if you had a girlfriend and you came somewhere and you saw like one of your ex-girlfriends and she was like trying to hug up on you and you were like, no! That's kind of the vibe that I got from this whole superstar line thing. They talk about Brian Pillman, of course, a little bit more, and they let us know, the Brian Pillman versus Dude Love match obviously would not take place. They don't have any other information about Brian Pillman's unfortunate demise up until this point. But then they throw together a minis match. As Glenn...
This was the first instance tonight of Vince McMahon having the emotional range of boiled dog shit. I've just got empathy and emotion just do not come naturally to him. It's like he's heard that people are normally sad when somebody dies and he's trying to do it. But he's just completely physically incapable of considering how other people might react to it. He's heard of emotions. He can't do it himself.
He's like a fucking robot. Yeah. I mean, I always loved to see the minis come out. And so it kind of makes you want to pop. But then when you think about like what I think Glenn said this to us in the chat. Do you remember what you said to us in the chat, Glenn?
I say, what a replacement for, they announced that poor Brian Pillman's passed. Oh, let's get the minis out there.
Yeah. Dead's supposed to wrestle. Here's the minis.
Yeah.
I've given some bad news. Look, little people.
Yeah. We'll distract you. Here's some little people.
That's essentially what it is.
Next time I got some bad news for the wife, I'm going to get me a whole mess of little people to run out of the car. See if that fixes it.
Yeah.
just to try. I don't know. I can tell you right now, if she does something to make me mad and they get a bunch of little people running around, I'll forget all about it. I'll tell you that right now.
The way to get Brent out of a bad mood, Max Mini.
Yeah. That's how you do it. Usually we watch the mini matches and have a little fun with it, but I think this is just too much of a somber moment that we're not going to do it this time.
No.
It's tonal whiplash.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is Max Mini and Nova. They took on Tarantula and
Mosaic. Yeah.
Thank you, Glenn. Yeah, I mean, it was your standard minis match. They did a bunch of flip-flop and flying. I didn't really take any notes on it. I don't know if you guys did.
Not really. No, I did. There was a few bits. Sorry, Dan, you.
So I was just going to say there was sort of like slapstick shenanigans between Tarantula and Mosaic. The referee didn't really give a shit or know whether it was supposed to be lucha rules or not. Kept enforcing tags when they didn't need to be, and it was what it was. It was a minis match at a really awkward point in the show. It wasn't great.
He took some bumps there. The way they slapped him onto the announce table.
There was a call from JR where they said they may be vertically challenged, but not athletically challenged.
That's right.
I mean, that's a good way to put it.
It was better than anything King said.
Yeah, I'm sure he just made a bunch of bad jokes.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Yeah, King. I like Jerry the King Lawler a lot more when I was a teenager than I do watching him as an adult. I think it's because it's like, oh, he's been making those same jokes for 30 years.
And 30 years before this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've seen a lot better mini matches. There was quite a lot of botches and missed spots on this one. But then again, they had no time to prepare for it.
Yeah, they just got thrown together. Yeah, they just all had to ride in their little mini car, get out and have a mini match. I'm sorry, I had to do it one time. You think those guys drive Mini Coopers? Never mind. That wasn't a thing back then. Okay, I'm sorry. After this, they show it. I tried. Sorry. I'll have to put some cricket sound effects after that joke, I think.
Yeah.
After this, they show a video package selling Austin 316 shirts, and I'm sitting here wondering about how much fucking money they made off of these shirts. What do you think they sold of those? Like 10 million?
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
nearly everybody had one.
They really, really did. And so Sunny makes her way down to the ring. We get to see her twice in one night, so lucky us.
And she had one of the lines that just had everybody like looking at each other sideways when she says everybody knows her history as far as tag teams go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I distinctly remember going, ha ha, I bet.
Yeah. I'm just cutting my notes. We certainly fucking do.
I was going to try to not make a joke about her too, but you got it. Thank you.
Oh, fuck it. She killed a guy.
She fucking did kill a guy. Crime and Sports called that shit too. James and Jimmy fucking called that shit. They said she's going to kill somebody's grandpa, and she did. She did.
I was about to say fuck Sonny, but no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to. Like throwing a hot dog down a hallway at this point. God damn it. God damn it. So it's a WWF Tag Team Championship match. It's the Godwinns with Uncle Cletus battling the Headbangers.
Another joke.
Yeah, a whole lot of another joke. So Sunny did not like the smell of those hog farmers as they got in the ring. She did not. Sunny dated fucking Phineas for at least a couple weeks. I distinctly remember that happening in 1996. So anyway, I promise we're not going to.
Did you clock what Lawler said about Sam Muchnick? He said when Sam Muchnick saw Sunny last backstage, he lost control of all bodily functions.
We'll talk about Sam Muchnick later. Yeah, he gets yeah. I couldn't believe he was still fucking alive. I was like, good, god damn, look at him.
That's why he lost control of bodily functions.
I'm
fucking ancient.
Surprised he didn't die. The Headbangers got a pretty good reaction from the crowd, I think. I didn't have high hopes for this match going in, and they were right. I was right because it wasn't very good. Glenn, why don't you tell us how you felt about
it? It was a tag match.
It was a match that happened.
It was a match that happened. After a short cup of coffee, they taken the titles off of the Headbangers. Not even give them a chance to break them in.
Dan, you got any thoughts about this one?
I spent a weird amount of time thinking about what Thrasher was doing when the Godwinns tried to jump him and they threw him out of the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And then Thrasher made a motion like that they were milking cows. He was either pretending to milk cows, which is weird for pig farmers, or he was calling them both wankers.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite tell which.
Maybe he thought you could milk a pig. You can't.
Yeah.
Even at one of the piece of business episodes that I was on was called Pig Milker 316. You can't milk a pig. That's wild.
We got the shittiest diving Hurricane Rana ever from Thrasher as well.
Yeah.
Did you see
the
that?
stupidest thing about it was they didn't even get it on camera, and then they were like, "Let's go back and look at this." Why would you show a replay of that shit? It was garbage.
You should have at least just turned it into a power bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead, it looked like I don't know what it was. And the dumbest thing was they didn't get it on camera. They were like, "Oh God, we got to go back and look at this replay of the shittier Rana."
The only good thing is at one point Henry Godwinn throws a clothesline that looked like it was going to kill Thrasher.
Yeah,
That
it was.
Yeah, that might have been the only good part about it. My least favorite part was at the very beginning of the match when the Headbangers and the Godwinns had a competition of who could be more gross with their own spit.
Yeah.
And then that got an emotion out of Vince McMahon because you could tell that he was absolutely disgusted by that because the King and JR kept trying to make jokes about it, and he was like, ugh.
And if you're disgusting Vince McMahon, you've done something really gross. Because we all know what he's allegedly into, the fucking horrible cunt.
But spitting in your hair is too much for him to deal with. Yeah.
Oh, there was a Godwinns are inbred sign. that was fun.
That's mighty rich from fucking wrestling fans in Missouri.
Yeah. There was also a sign earlier on that it was WCW where the big boys play ... with themselves.
I want that on a t-shirt, to be honest with you. That sounds amazing. Yeah, other than the Headbangers doing a few cool tag team moves, this match was really slow. It went about 8 minutes too long, and I think it only went like 9 minutes and 52 seconds. I don't think that they made the right move at all by taking the belts off of the Headbangers and putting them back on the Godwinns. I feel like I feel like the Headbangers are kind of like an Attitude Era tag team because they're like kind of, strange, weird. They dress weird. And now you've gone back to like 1995 by giving it to these fucking hog farmers. And I don't know who they lose the belts to, but I just feel like the Headbangers could have lost the belts to whoever it is, whether it's LOD. Because if it is LOD, you could easily turn the Headbangers heel too to feud with LOD. So it made no sense to me to have the Godwinns win the championships. No sense at all.
I'd rather have Max Mini and Nova win the tag titles.
Yeah, you're not lying.
The Godwinns held it for quite a while, I think.
I hope not.
Because I have a feeling, hell, you don't know.
Oh, the New Age Outlaws are coming in soon, yeah. Glenn's just really hopeful that Rockabilly never comes back because he doesn't want to hear that song again.
Yeah, that is it.
I know that's it, Glenn. After the match, the Godwinns beat on the Headbangers a little until the referee tells Howard Finkel that if they don't leave the ring immediately, they will reverse the decision. And so they finally leave, and thank God that match was over.
Apparently, this was a short. Just having a look at.
I was looking at the same thing.
This was a short-term thing with the Godwinns because they didn't want LOD taking the titles off of the Headbangers.
Okay.
So it's the LOD that get them back next.
I thought it was LOD, but
because isn't when New Age Outlaws come in, isn't that when they do the whole thing with like shaving Hawk's head and they do all that horrible crap with his with the alcoholism angle?
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Yeah, I remember that now. Then we go to a video and they kind of show all the hell that Austin's raised thus far in 1997.
I put in my note here, it's the ascent up the corporate ladder. It starts with the Laggies and ended up with Vince.
yeah.
It's stunning a lot of them.
Let's see a little bit of what Stone Cold Steve Austin's been up to this year. What do you say?
Yeah, go on then.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is, by definition, a rattlesnake.
Let me tell you about
Stone Cold Steve Austin gives no credence to authority. No! Oh, God! No! Oh, my God! Austin he just attacked the commissioner! Good God Almighty! Stone Cold Steve Austin has no friends, no allies. Oh, no! Waller just got it! Waller just got the stutter! And there goes the crowd! Stone Cold Steve Austin's rage and fury knows no limits. It is blind and without prejudice, even to compassionate pleas of reason.
They care about you, that's all it is. You can kiss my ass.
We then get an interview with Owen Hart for the very young, spry Michael Cole, looking very young here in 1997. Well, I don't think he was even doing an interview with Owen. I think Owen just popped in. Owen was like, well, I'm here. I'm going to do an interview now. Owen basically says he's tired of hearing about Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Sergeant Slaughter and all the officials in the WWE. Better do the right thing and keep Austin away from him. Or can you spell lawsuit? I don't know how that really works out, but and then we do they do like a little ceremony honoring some of the legends from the St. Louis Wrestling Club.
This was there to kill time.
It was, of course it was, because they'd lost the match.
Yeah, it was interesting from sort of a historical point of view. I know I've seen this before, but it was nice to be reminded of some of it. But would it really entice you to buy the next pay-per-view?
It would entice me not to buy the next pay-per-view because I would have, I don't remember this at all from the show. So it was interesting just to see, like, when they talked about, like I talked about Wrestling at the Chase, which took place at the Kiel Auditorium. This is the Kiel Center, which is a different place, but it was at the same area. It's just a different arena. It ran from 1959 until 1985. So they ran that TV show for a very long time. They brought out Gene Knitsky, Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., Harley Race, Terry Funk, your mother's a whore, Luthez, and the very ancient Sam Munchnick. They show a different video package of each guy. It was interesting to me because I just listened to an audio book called Death of the Territories. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it was a pretty interesting book where it talks about how all the territories, how it went from, being so good to everybody being run out of town by Vince McMahon. And so it was interesting to put kind of faces to names to faces, mostly Sam Munchnick, because I'd never heard about Sam Munchnick in my life up until that book. So interesting thing in here, I saw somebody had a sign that said Harley Race needs a Stone Cold Stunner, and I don't even think Stone Cold Steve Austin wants that smoke in 1997.
No. Harley Race apparently could take a coin, put it between his pinky finger and his fourth finger, and bend it.
Yeah.
Just with the sheer strength of his hands.
I wouldn't fight Harley Race right now and he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fight him now and he's dead.
I just looked it up. Sam Muchnick here was 92.
How old did he live to be?
93.
No,
I thought you were going to say 92. Died that night after he saw Sonny. Very unfortunate.
No. For me, that was great to see Luthez. Because over on UTT, we covered Luthez's last match against Masahiro Chono, which they mentioned in this. And Thez wrestled in 7 decades. His last match was against Chono, and he was, I think he was 74.
75. He was
75. Yeah.
I haven't got to that.
Really well.
Yeah, he did not look set. He didn't look. He looked pretty spry for 1997. Even he looked pretty good. So did his last match take place after this? Then right after 97?
No, it was 1990.
Oh, okay.
When he was 75, so he was 82. There was Luthez.
He looked great for 82, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was probably still wrestling exhibition matches.
Yeah. It looked like he still used the gym regularly.
Yeah, he looked great. Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting to say the least. We then hear from Faarooq. He's got the Nation with him. Yeah, I don't know. He just talked about. They asked him about Steve Austin, and he says, I don't know why you're asking me about Steve Austin. He's never been to any places that I've been. He's not from where I'm from, and Steve Austin doesn't matter, basically. And then we get some more insensitive Vince McMahon talking about the death of Brian Pillman. And he makes sure to say that they're not sure if it's a drug overdose, and we want to make sure that everyone knows that that's a problem in all sports, not just in our sport. And
why would you even put that out there?
Because he's a slimy, grotty cunt bag.
He is.
Sorry, it really pissed me off. It really pissed me off. And it's only going back to watch this as an adult. Because I don't think I've really watched this since, apart from the obvious bit at the end as a Kane fan.
Yeah.
You just go back and realise just how in plain sight all of this shit was. It's fucking disgusting.
Talk about cover his arse.
Yep. That's
completely
exactly what
callous.
I put in my notes.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I put in my notes. All he did there was try to cover his ass. If nobody had said anything about drugs,
No.
you're the one that fucking brought it up, asshole. Now people are thinking drugs. You shouldn't even have said that.
No.
Well, how many years removed from the steroid trial at this point?
Fucking not enough. Like 4.
Yeah.
To be fair, I just assumed it was drugs all these years. Only basically because bloody Vince said so. I didn't realize it at the time. It wasn't until I actually researched it for this that I found out it was a hereditary heart disease he had.
Yeah. Like I said, he fucked himself because maybe people were thinking that, but when you say that, then it really drives them to that. And it's like, oh, they know something that I don't know, and they know that it's drugs when you say that. So, like, I don't even know. Clearly, he's the boss, so he's not going to have anybody go, don't say that. But imagine if Jim Ross had said that, he probably would be fired. You know what I mean?
Again.
Yeah, again. And then this asshole. But anyway, so off of a slimy cunt bag, I think is what Dan called him. I think that's a good way to.
Yeah.
Faarooq versus Owen Hart. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And to make matters worse, he says that and then brings out Brian's best friend to have a match.
Yep.
So he was waiting. Owen was waiting out in Gorilla to come out for a match. When Vince is putting that out, it just makes me feel sick.
Owen should have stuck his boot right up Vince's arsehole.
He should have done.
God, I mean, when you think about what happens with Owen, it's just fuck, man.
I recorded that pay-per-view and I remember watching it back. Obviously, we didn't know what had happened. And then I remember just seeing it cut away.
And that's what he got for being loyal to the WWE. Everybody else went over to WCW.
It's pretty fucking sad, yeah. You can tell when Owen comes out to the ring just by the look on his face that he's anywhere but here, which is completely understandable. Austin comes out and the people go fucking crazy, flips Owen Hart off. I guess that restraining order is gone, even though he violated it 4 or 5 times. It's no longer a thing, I guess.
It's only valid when it doesn't make for good TV.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I made you laugh as the fact that there's Sergeant Slaughter out there being about as much use as a chocolate teapot trying to guard him.
Yeah.
Oh god, Slaughter was so fucking useless. He was about as useful as a marzipan dildo.
That's like because it's too soft, right? I get it. I never heard that before. I like that. I'm going to use that a lot.
But this match annoyed me as well because I get that Austin's like the hottest ticket in town. He's the big up and comer, but all he did here was just be a complete distraction and steal all the focus.
Yeah.
This match could have been so much more.
Hey, can you go be weird somewhere else? Don't do it right there.
All right, see you later.
Sorry, my dog's being weird. My bad. I didn't mean you.
It's a whole strange thing.
You've got two guys like Owen and Faarooq. Yeah. Sorry, Glenn, go on.
You've got Austin out there being a distraction. Owen obviously doesn't want to be out there, but he's doing his best. Keep Austin out of it, and then instead of having this drag out for, I did make a note of how long, 7.5 minutes or 7 minutes 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Keep it down to about 4 or 5 minutes. Then have Austin come out and interfere, just so it keeps it short, but it gets it out of the way. Yeah. The whole thing is just so icky.
Faarooq and Owen could have had a good 5 minutes, and you can still have the same finish with Austin just appearing and swatting Faarooq, and you still get the pop, you still get the intrigue. He didn't need to be out there talking shit in the headsets because he didn't say anything particularly entertaining.
The only entertaining part I thought was when he got on the the Spanish announce team, and you can hear Tito Santana Tito Santana, easy for me to say. You can hear him say "loco," and he's like, "I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but you saying I'm crazy?" And he said, "Poquito loco," which means a little bit crazy. He said, "I speak enough Spanish to know you're talking shit. And I'm keeping my eye on you." But that was the only good part of it. The rest of it was.
What makes me laugh is the commentators keep saying about Austin being a distraction. And yet it's the production people that keep switching the cameras and putting the split screen in and switching the audio feed so we can hear what he's saying.
Right. They could have just cut him off if they didn't want him to be on there. I want to say like every match probably got 3 or 4 minutes added to it, and maybe that's why. But the plan has always been for Austin to be out there because they've been talking about him, being out there to forfeit the title. So, yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense, especially when you got 2 talented wrestlers like Owen Hart and Faarooq who could have had a decent match, but they really weren't given a chance. And even if it had been a decent match, we didn't get to fucking see it because they kept putting the camera on Austin, so we wouldn't have known if it was good or not. So it could have been a great match, and we don't know. Neidhart makes his way down to the ring. He gets on the apron. When he does that, Austin hits Faarooq in the head with the Intercontinental Championship belt, and Owen pins him. He wins the Intercontinental title. They're not sure what the commentary team seems to be. They just don't understand why Austin would do this when it's pretty fucking clear that he did it because he wants to face Owen. Duh. But they were bamboozled by this idea. Faarooq isn't happy. And yeah. Only purpose of this was for Austin to get over, which he was already over. So
it wasn't great. And then we get that where it says about we have the recap of the Hearts and Vader versus a Patriot. But
yeah,
they had a stipulation to the flag match so that can also be won by pin.
Yeah.
Which means it's not a flag match.
A flag match is a shit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there has never been a good flag match. If they'd done this so it ended quicker, brilliant. But it didn't fucking end quicker.
No, fucking sure didn't. But the next match was another filler match. It was the Los Boricuas taking on DOA in an 8-man tag team match. Yeah, no bikes for DOA, which made them a lot less cool. JR calls this a clothesline match, and I would say that sums it up perfectly.
Yep. Savio Vega and 3 guys whose names I can't remember versus the Nazi twins and 2 Bryans.
Yep.
9 minutes and 13 seconds of my time that I will not get back.
Yeah, this
that's my review of that.
This match would have been good if it had been 8 minutes shorter. My advice to you as the listener of this show, if you're going to go back and watch this pay-per-view, skip this match. Just go ahead and fast forward right through it because there's nothing to see here.
In fact, just watch LOD and the main event. That's all you need to watch on this.
I completely forgot that Brian Lee was was one of the first fake Undertakers.
Yeah, he was.
He also faked the Undertaker one time when he got arrested for a domestic violence thing and told him his name was Mark Calloway.
Yeah, he did.
Needless to say, they're not friends anymore. Yeah, he did. He got arrested for domestic violence and told him that his name was Mark Calloway. Yep.
As you can imagine, the real Mark Calloway was well pissed.
Yeah, he was not. The Undertaker wasn't happy about that. Next up is the flag match, and let's hear from the combatants in the flag match and how they feel about the upcoming flag match.
Call it home field advantage, call it what you will, but there's a good chance the American flag could be flying high tonight in the Kiel Center.
Well, you're dreaming, that's all. That's what Americans like to dream. Well, they can go ahead and dream, but reality is the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldog, and myself, we're going to set one more example, and that example is that we are better than any 2 Americans in the World Wrestling Federation, whether the American wrestling fans like it or not.
British Bulldog.
That's right. The only flag that's going to be waving tonight is the Canadian flag, because the British Bulldog and the Hitman are going to be victorious tonight here in St. Louis, right here.
The Bulldog and Bret ready for the flag match. Back to ringside.
You've got the home field advantage. Over 21,000 screaming Americans right here in the Kiel Center. Millions at home. Put it real bluntly, the pressure's on. Hart Foundation, we've had our problems. We've gone round and round.
But tonight, I go to the ring with every intention of settling this thing once and for all. And big man, you've got my word, but I'll do anything and everything it takes to get it done tonight. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Ain't that a bunch of bull? Well, the Patriot and I, we don't have much in common, except we don't like big mouth Canadians, trash talking Americans. And tonight, together, we will play the pain game, for it is Vader time.
Vader time. Whose promo was your favorite out of those four?
David.
It's going to be David's.
He forgot what he was saying and just fucked off. Right here, and I'm out.
Yeah, he's right here tonight. Tonight.
I'm off.
I love the Bulldog.
Did the Patriot use that same voice? Like, say, if he goes to McDonald's and was ordering, I want a double cheeseburger with no onions.
Yeah.
I thought it was Bob Backlund.
He sounded like Bob Backlund, didn't he?
And Vader giving bloody Vince JR a heart attack by about saying bullshit.
You guys remember, I can't remember which pay-per-view it was, but there was one where Kane beat Vader pretty quickly. And somebody interviews him after the match ringside, and they ask him about what went wrong, and he's like, "Well, look at me, I'm too big. I'm just a big fat piece of shit." And he just walks off.
I remember that. He's like, "I'm so big. I'm just a big fat piece of shit." You're like, "What?" Did he just say that? Yeah, I remember that now. Oh, I'm just so big. Hilarious. So the best part of this match was before the bell rang and there was like a brawl between all four men that was like going all throughout. And I feel like I would have liked this match more had it actually been a flag match and been like Texas tornado, like tornado rules where there was no tagging. I think it would have been a much better match. But since you had to tag in and out, it killed any flow that they may have ever had.
And the other best bit, again, before the bell started, is that they're using the "You Suck" music for the Patriot.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's music.
It's certainly more appropriate for the Patriot than it ever was for Kurt Angle that he sucks.
Yeah, no, absolutely, pal.
But the thing with this match is Bret, great hand. Bulldog, great hand. Vader, great hand. Del Wilkes, serviceable.
Yeah.
They could have had just a straight up tag match and it made it great. They could have had a flag match and made it better than shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just mixing the two, like you said, Brent, it just made no sense. Just when it felt like it was getting going, it all just slowed down again because they had to go for the flags and they had to keep thinking of ways to go for the flags and cut it off. At one point, I'm pretty sure Vader punched Bret directly in the arsehole.
Which I think Liv Morgan took up that same sort of assault on Bianca Belair at Elimination Chamber. I don't know if you noticed, but she gave Bianca Belair several punches to the buttocks.
I'll have to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, have a look.
The actual highlight of this match for me was the referee putting boots to that fan that decided there's going to be stupid enough to get in the ring.
Yeah. That guy couldn't get back Mike Chioda. If he would have gotten the Bulldog would have fucking eaten him alive.
Well, someone else put, I think it was Bulldog, put a couple of boots in as well.
Oh, he did, yeah.
But Bulldog was trying to down off the apron and whoop him some more, but Mike Chioda was like, get back in the ring. Don't do that.
Yeah. Mike Chioda, by sticking the boots in on him, actually saved his life.
Yeah.
JR had the line of the night for that too. He said, I hope that guy's insured.
Yeah.
Oh, Brent, I had a question for you about this match. As the only American on this week, is choking someone with an American flag patriotic?
It depends on if you're storming the Capitol, I think.
Fair enough. I was going to go with an autoerotic asphyxiation joke, but yeah, that was better.
I think what it is you have to have a naked hooker with you, a big pile of cocaine, and you have to be playing God Bless America on a boombox for it to be patriotic. I think. I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait. While shooting an AK-47. Don't forget that part.
Yeah.
Just put little piles of coke in fitting 50 stars and all the white stripes.
Yep, perfect. That's how we get down in America. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Vader did do a moonsault where Davey moved, and then Vader almost like went all the way around and landed on his feet, which is pretty goddamn impressive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Vader was absolutely the star of this match because I feel like out of everybody, he really had his working shoes on, and I thought he looked really good. And you don't say that a lot about his WWF run. You know, a lot of it he didn't look very good, and I thought he looked pretty good this match.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. It does say a lot, though, that even in the last match and the Godwinns and Headbangers, this crowd were really hot. They were good all night, even if sometimes it was a bit Pavlovian. They went really quiet in this match because it went on for so fucking long.
They bored them into it.
Yeah.
And then out of it and back into it. I think people were falling asleep and then waking back up. When Vader hit the mat hard, they were like, oh, the match is still going.
At the end of the day, you're asking these guys to do 20-odd minutes of a nonsense match when they've lost their friend earlier on in the day. It was never going to be good, even if it'd been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It should have all been snappy, short, get it out of the way and get home.
But they end it on a pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody benefited from this match.
No.
Bret went with a roll up too, and he was holding the tights, and not a single person on commentary acknowledged the fact that he held the tights. No one said a word.
Yeah, which, if the commentators can't even be bothered, then why should I?
21 minutes 15 to get a roll up. Yeah, to get a roll up in a flag match.
Was it you, Brent, that said it felt like an Iron Man match, or was that you?
It felt like the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels match to me. It was definitely an hour.
That was an insult to the Iron Man match. Actually, quite
no,
like
the
that.
Iron Man match is good. I'm just saying it felt every bit of an hour. I told my wife, I said, I've been watching this match for 4 hours. And she said, it's been 20 minutes. And I said, no, it hasn't. Couldn't be.
I never thought I'd be able to find a Bret Hart match or a Bulldog match that would make me kind of hate wrestling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one did it.
This was the fucking one. Yeah, this was the fucking one. They do a promo after the match for Survivor Series, and they're calling it Gang Rules.
No.
They managed to make the gang warfare thing look far cooler than it really is.
Yeah, they did. Also, if you order it and send in your cable bill, you can get a free Survivor Series dog tag. So that's pretty cool.
Nah, all right.
Nobody said anything about arrogant assholes. But speaking of arrogant assholes, here's Shawn Michaels.
Obviously, all the talk is over with. Your illustrious career on the line in moments, because only one man is going to walk out of the hell in a cell.
Best I can tell, good news, there's some bad news. The good news is this match is not for my coveted European Championship. That will stay around the waist of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Now, the bad news. 15-foot high steel cage. No way in, no way out. Well, there is one way. Through a locked door. Once I get in, once the Undertaker gets in, it'll be locked behind me, troops. I think I'm going to have to go this one alone. If it weren't for my wonderful athletic ability, the fact that I'm tougher than nails, the fact that I'm the man here in the World Wrestling Federation, the fact that I'm the showstopper, the headliner, the main event, is the only thing that's going to get me through this. That, and the fact that I am the most tenacious man in the World Wrestling Federation, and the fact of the matter is, ain't nobody crazy enough to do this gig, except for the Heartbreak Kid. So I'm going to go out there and show you why I am the number one guy in this business today.
You missed off the best bit. The best bit of that promo was just after when Triple H went to start talking and they just cut the fucking thing right off.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Yeah. They said, nah, we got enough.
Yeah. No thanks, Beaky.
He really like buried the European Championship in the beginning of that too. He made it like it seem like a joke title, and it didn't even fucking matter. Like he might as well throw it in the garbage. Yeah, but you just had to win it was the thing. He just had to win it, but it's just a piece of garbage. And I loathed that part because I was like the audacity.
Don't know why he's got it.
This is an egomaniacal twat basket.
Yeah.
Let's just go with was an egomaniacal. I think maybe he still is. I don't know him, but he seems to be a little bit better of a person now.
So I mean, Sean in '97 is an egomaniacal twat basket.
100%.
And even he admits it.
Yeah. He'll freely.
What I did like though, the China was stood there looking badass with a face like a bulldog licking piss off a thistle.
Yeah.
And Rick Rude and Triple H both looked hungover. Triple H looked like he was hanging on for dear life, even though we know he doesn't drink.
Yeah, maybe he didn't get a lot of sleep last night. He worked out too hard. Yeah, but China was just standing there looking like a menace. I mean, like a stone cold menace. She looks great. Yeah. So then we get Sergeant Slaughter. He's got a flashlight. He's checking underneath the ring.
This went on forever.
Yeah. Why?
We saw them putting the flags up before, which took an age. And now we've got the cell lowering without any fanfare, which is really weird.
Yeah.
But JR did a good job of getting across how dangerous it is. So dangerous, in fact, that it nearly ate Sergeant Slaughter.
We wish it would have.
You know, the guy is such a good official that he didn't notice a 7-foot red monster wandering around the back, running head out the back with a little fat man.
Well,
who's the matchmaker in the cream egg?
Sergeant Slaughter was in catering. Give him a break, okay?
You think Paul Bearer wasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say I'm allowed to say that I'm a fat fuck.
You know what? You're right. But yeah, once they're sufficiently agreed upon that there's nobody in the ring, there's no Hornswoggle's not under there, Zelina Vega's not under there, Rick Rude's not under there, China's not under there, nobody's under there.
No Joe Gacy with a boxing glove on a pole.
Oh my God, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I popped so hard when he popped that with that thing. I said, "Oh God, yes, he's got a boxing glove on a stick." I love it. Oh, that was good. So Sean comes out. He's got all the DX with him. Undertaker makes the long walk down to the ring. As I was watching Undertaker walk to the ring, I was thinking about how much history all the fans in the arena were about to witness, and they didn't.
Yeah, it's how short that ramp was, though. So it didn't take him that long to get there.
Only 45 minutes, not an hour.
Yeah.
Did you guys see though the actual the set around that little entryway where they'd gone to the effort of making it look like a mini cell?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That really wasn't showcased enough. The fact that we only saw it just before this match was kind of bullshit. It was low-key, like, really good.
I actually heard something on the Something to Wrestle With podcast that I will share that was supposed to happen with that fence when a certain someone makes his debut at the end of this. That didn't happen. So one of my favorite parts of the match is when the Undertaker gets in the ring and they start actually locking the door with the chain and the padlock. And you can see the realization start to set in on Shawn Michaels' face that there's no way that anybody's going to be able to get in here to help him. And he ain't going to be able to get out. And he's going to have to figure out a fucking way to actually fight a fucking zombie in a cage. I just thought the way he sold it was really good because he was like, oh my fucking God, I'm going to die.
He's trying to make deals with Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
And the whole cat and mouse thing around the ring, there was like a really big, like, it was like Mr. X in Resident Evil 3. Just constant stalking her, all like, so like Jason Voorhees, you know, Michael Myers just stalking him one pace around the ring, knowing he can't get anywhere.
I've got that note of the Undertaker's just there stalking his prey.
Yeah. It felt dangerous. And HBK had his crazy selling boots on, didn't he?
Yeah.
He even had a mad sell for old school where it looked like he'd belly flopped into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
I mean, for the better part of the opening 10 minutes of this thing, I mean, it was just Undertaker just throwing Michaels around. I mean, Michaels was a bumping machine to open this thing. I don't know. I guess Glenn, tell me a few favorite spots of yours in this match, because we could really talk about this all day because it's a fucking absolute clinic of a wrestling match. But what are some of your favorite parts of the match, Glenn?
At one point, where Taker gets hold of Sean, and we see the power of the cage for the first time, where he throws him over the top rope, he smashes into the cage and sort of runs down it like a broken egg.
There was a bump where Taker threw Michaels just over the top, and Sean just went straight to the floor, just flat on his back. It looked like it fucking sucked.
Another highlight for me was whoever the bloodthirsty idiot in the crowd was shouting, "Make him bleed."
That guy had a bad week or something. He just wanted to see somebody hurt.
I think that was the effect of having to sit through the flag match live.
Oh,
that's why he was so angry. Yeah, it makes sense.
The pile driver's on the stair. The pile driver on the stairs by Sean.
yeah.
As he took over, because they basically just traded ass kickings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But it was slow paced, but it wasn't plodding. It was different. It was how to be methodical.
It was a good paced Undertaker match. You're not going to get it. You're never ever going to get Taker at 100 miles an hour.
there wasn't a whole lot of laying around in the match either, and not to necessarily mean that that's a bad thing, but they basically kept it moving along. And it, like you said, Dan, they did a good job of, like, Undertaker would get his licks for a while, and then Michaels would get his licks for a while, and then they do something, in between them both to do something really big where the other guy would be able to swing the momentum around to get the upper hand, and then it would change back. And I thought they did a really good job of going back and forth with that. And then, like, the throwbacks of, the Undertaker Michaels gets a chair out from under the ring, and they're like, this all started with the chair shot, because it all started with the chair shot at SummerSlam. There was a lot of stiff chair shots in the ring. Michaels eventually gets backdrop out of the ring onto a cameraman. He then beats the cameraman up, which gets the door opened. And then another really great part is when Shawn Michaels hits the super. This is the part. Shawn Michaels hits the super kick. Taker completely no-sells it, sits right back up, and Michael says, fuck this, I'm out. Yeah. He takes off out the door, and then when they get outside the cage is when shit really starts getting interesting.
It certainly does.
Yeah, I like just as well with the catapult into the cell from the entryway before he started climbing. But there was another bit when it was when they were on the top, and there was blood dripping down onto the camera.
Yeah, that's the bit that on my notes I just got to.
Yeah,
with that blood dripping down.
But then I think it's the cameraman. You hear the cameraman go, "Oh shit!"
He goes, "Oh shit!" He goes, "Oh shit!" Yeah.
There was another bit with the cameraman as well. You could tell that they were. This was the first time that they'd done it in this confined space, because there was one bit where Sean actually fell over the cameraman and gives a good bollocking.
Yeah.
Thing in the way.
Another good shot was when Taker was just lawn darting Sean, but they were filming it from the outside, so you could see Sean's bloody face just getting mashed into the cell. That looked really fucking awesome.
That was really good. Yeah, Sean bled buckets. He's bleeding everywhere. This is like the most blood we've seen in a match since Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. They get up on the top. He's picking Michael up, slamming him down on the top. You can see blood dripping down into the cage. Michael starts to try to climb down the other side, and he's kind of hanging there by his hands. Taker steps on one hand, he lets go, steps on the other, and then he comes crashing down through the announce table, which is probably the craziest bump in WWE up until that point, if you think about it.
I think this is the start of the Spanish announce table having a big target on it. Carry on through the Attitude Era.
It was when a young Shane McMahon looked at him and thought, I'm going to fucking beat that.
I can do better than that.
Maybe then Daddy will love me.
Yeah.
And then Mick Foley went, yep, I'm going to try and kill myself because I'm not being outdone by you two.
We get the classic line, though, don't we, from JR, the by God, he may be broken in half.
Yeah. By God, he may be broken. Yeah, so Taker gets him back outside the cage. He wallops him with the steel chair. He hits a big choke slam off the top rope before he hits him with the choke slam on the top rope, and then he hits him with the big chair. He signals for the tombstone, but then the lights go out. Go ahead, Dan. Tell us about it.
It's beautiful. The lights go out. That music hits. The best Kane music, in my opinion. Yeah. We have the red lighting. The pyro goes off. You've got this huge monster, Paul Bearer, like a pudgy gremlin in the background, rubbing his hands with glee. And it's the red, it's the mask, the hair. He's huge, just walking down the ramp. And you've got the iconic call from, of all people, fucking Vince McMahon. That's gotta be Kane. Great when you say it once, not so great when you say it 7 fucking times.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got it the first time, and the look on Undertaker's face it's just masterful. Literally looks like he's seen a ghost. But then we get Kane physically ripping the door off the cell, walking in there, standing eye to eye with Taker. Sorry, Glenn, go on.
Did you notice that when they were actually standing there eye to eye, they weren't eye to eye? I think that they'd actually, to make him look even bigger, Kane was wearing elevated boots.
Yeah, he looked an inch or two taller.
Yeah,
he looked a couple of inches taller than Taker there, which he doesn't later on.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely something like we got to make him look a little bit taller just so he can look like he's bigger. I mean, he's already physically bigger. You can tell by the body size, but we wanted to look just a little bit taller too. And another part that I listened to this on Something to Wrestle With because I went back and listened to their show, which they did a few years ago. And apparently they put some sort of gel or something on that cage in the entranceway. And when it came out and they did the boom, it was supposed to catch that on fire too. So that whole cage area was supposed to catch on fire and continue to burn until Kane made his way out of the arena. And imagine how much even better of it would have been if that entire cage would have been engulfed in flames.
Oh yeah,
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have added.
That would have been awesome.
An extra minute, an extra layer on top of it. It was already fucking really, really good. And then. So what did you guys think about, when Kane picks him up to tombstone him, it looks like, I'm pretty sure he's trying to find the hard cam.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a little kid, when I was 14 years old, I'm thinking to myself, he did that to show how much power he has, that he can just pick the Undertaker up and just doll him around like that. Mm-hmm. And so I think while you can look at that as a bad thing, I also think you can look at that as a really, really good thing because he's just so powerful that he can just ragdoll the Undertaker around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Sorry, Dave.
No, no, you go, Glenn, because as soon as I start again, I'm going to be going into a little bit. So.
I think that this could have possibly been Glenn Jacobs' first tombstone. Because he put Taker down on his head rather hard. I think Taker would have taken him aside after that and basically said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly.
Yeah. It looked impactful.
Yeah, for season at least. Yeah.
But that is a way to debut a monster.
Oh God, yeah.
Have them come out, rip the door off the structure you've said is the most dangerous thing in wrestling up until this point, and instantly drop the unkillable. The zombie, the zombie Undertaker. This was the start of I actually I would have begged to be on this show because Kane, Bret Hart was my first favorite wrestler. Kane was my first favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially later on because this was the start of one of the best stories in wrestling. Kane and the Undertaker, brothers that last 20 fucking years. But I've said it on other podcasts. The shit that Kane goes through in a couple of years' time, when they're calling him the Big Red slur that we don't use anymore in polite company.
Yeah.
He was this giant, dangerous bloke who was essentially mistreated and bullied, and everybody tried to take advantage of. And that was a lot of my childhood. I was a bullied kid and whatnot, and so I was a lot bigger than everybody else.
Yeah.
And seeing it play out on TV that Kane could overcome that and then get to be a champion was really fucking good. And it stuck with me all these years. Now, the shame behind it, the shame is that the man behind the mask, Glenn Jacobs, has proved himself to be an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like to think that Kane would be ashamed of Glenn Jacobs. Yeah.
I believe he absolutely would be, yes.
Yeah, not to get too personal, but that's why I really just wanted to be on this show. And I'm never going to pass up a chance to talk about Kane, and to go back and look at what started it all was a lot of fun, despite most of what we saw before it.
I think that's great because, like, when you can share stories like that, because I don't think people who aren't wrestling fans will never understand. Like, it does impact our lives, and it doesn't matter that it's just a TV show. The people in the TV show can make us feel a certain way, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. So I'm glad that you shared that story.
Yes, so am I.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, guys. Brent, you'll have to hear it again as you listen through UTT.
This is what wrestling does. We'll go on about how divisive it can be and how toxic internet wrestling community can be. But at the end of the day, there are so many people that have got inspiration and comfort in wrestling stories. It's an amazing medium. And we're lucky to be part of it in a small way.
Absolutely.
But go back to that. One little bit that I enjoy right at the end is as Triple H and what's his name? I've gone blank.
Rude.
Yeah, Rick Rude have got Shawn Michaels. They are just picking his arm up and making him wave away from it being midnight weekend at Bernie's. So lifeless, and they're carrying him along.
Yeah, he was fucked.
Yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, the tombstones Undertaker. Michaels crawls over, puts an arm over him. 1, 2, 3. Shawn Michaels is the winner. They drag him out. Literally, he doesn't look like he has any idea where he is, and he probably doesn't. So, like I said, this sets the stage for two gigantic things going forward. You've got the brother versus brother feud with Kane and Undertaker that's going to span for 20 years. Something that's going to be talked about for the rest of pro wrestling lifetime, the Montreal Screwjob, because now Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart is set for a Collision Course Survivor Series, which is going to be the next pay-per-view that we look at. So what a pay-per-view this is when you look at it on a whole. A lot of bad matches, but the end of it was really, really solid.
This actually sums up Raw over the last 3 months. We've had a lot of bad matches, but great stories.
Yeah.
Occasionally find a nugget of gold amongst the shit.
Yeah, one little nugget of gold.
Just like one night only, we found one nugget of gold, which is Bret Hart versus The Undertaker, and the rest was shit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a common denominator there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Dan.
It was a way shorter debut for Kane than I remember, though. In my head, when I was a kid, this lasted for like an hour.
One common denominator.
Oh, The Undertaker, that too, yeah. Dan and The Undertaker.
Yeah,
you're right. It did feel like it lasted a lot longer. I was always a big Shawn Michaels fan, and so I wanted him to win this match because I wanted him to face Bret Hart for the championship at Survivor Series. And so I remember when the lights went out, I was like, yes! Because I knew that meant something was going to happen that was going to stop The Undertaker from beating Shawn Michaels. So I was celebrating. And as he's walking out, and it's got to be Kane, I'm jumping up and down. Yes! Yeah, I'm like Daniel Bryan. I lost my mind. I popped through the ceiling. I might have been happier than Dan was. When he watched it back later.
As I've been keeping notes of the times of all these matches. That lasted 30 minutes. And yeah, he seemed like the shortest match on the card.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's I think it was Triple H and Undertaker with their second WrestleMania match. You know, it was the first one of when they did 2 years in a row.
28, yeah.
Yeah, their match at 28 felt like about 10 minutes, but it went 45.
Yeah.
It's incredible what good pacing can do.
That's what I told my wife. I said, I watched some of these matches in 97 and they are a chore and they seem like they go on for hours. And I watched some of them that fly by like they were 3 minutes long. And this was one of the ones that flew by like it was during the song. And no matter how many times I watch this match, I'm always in awe by how fucking great it is. Every time I watch it. And I think you can say that with all the great matches. Like if you go back and watch Cena versus Punk at Money in the Bank, I feel the same way about that every time I watch it. Or if you watch Austin versus The Rock, more for me at WrestleMania 19, that's my favorite Rock versus Austin match, but it's just such good moments. And it always puts me in awe of how good the shit is. So, anything else anybody else wants to say about this one before we put a bow on this?
No, I don't think so.
Just one last time, I will say that Vince McMahon's a cunt back.
That's fine. That's
fine.
Absolutely fine. that's absolutely fine to say.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
We can all agree with that. Well, Dan, before we get you out of here, where can we find you? Where can we hear you? Let people know where they can find your shit.
I'm over on that Twitter X Twix thing at Dan Griffin 21, usually tweeting a load of old bullshit. You hear my stuff plugged every week by Mr. Abbott over there. Unbooking the Territory, First and Last of Wrestling. I forgot the name of my own podcast. Unbooking the
did you pull the Glenn? He doesn't know it.
I was stuck in the Territory.
Oh!
Unstacking the Territory, Unputting the Territory. And I'm over on SJP World Media doing the Doctor. Go on, Brent.
The Doctor Who podcast with Danny Inside. Check it out. SJP World Media.
Yeah, we've got that. And I'm on the volley with my strike partners, the magnificent Matt Lewis and Connor from Connor Knows Footy, covering everything from Premier League games to MLS games to AFCON and doing all our alternative commentary and eating pies while we do it because I took a thing about athletic endeavour and made it all about being a fat bastard.
You guys got like a draft special coming up on SJP World Media soon too, don't you?
Yes, Draftomania will be coming soon. That's sort of a more community project. I'm going to go through episodes. Morty from the Morty and Fitz shows in a fair few, Size in a few. We're bringing Mags in, Glenn, Ben from Rantermeisters that has now sadly ended. But go back and listen to that in the back catalogue. Yeah, keep an eye out for Draftomania. And if you want to come on the show, just let us know.
There you go. Yeah, check all that out.
I'll happily do another one.
Well, we're going to get another round of recordings sorted fairly soon. So I'll give you a shout.
Yep. Let us know. I think an AWI Pod draft series, a draft show would be fun. So let us know. We'll check it out. But anyway, make sure you give Dan a follow on all those wonderful things. There we go. Yeah, me versus Glenn. I think me versus Glenn would be probably a massacre, but I guess we'll see. Glenn, some of your plugs are out of the way. Is there any other plugs you got to get in?
Only DDT dress. DC Adopt every Friday or Sunday this week because of personal issues they've had over the last few weeks. They're a little bit behind, but yeah, give them a check out because they do a great job over there.
Give them a check out for sure. And of course, you should check out SportsWire Radio and give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on the Twitter X and on Threads and on Instagram. It's Thomas Bryce 2017 on the Twitter X. It's Thomas Bryce 2020 on the other apps that I mentioned. Check out their YouTube page. Check out their website, sportswireradio.org. And of course, give the other member of our podcast team, the mayor of Canton, a follow on the Twitter X. He is at Mayor of Canton. Every Wednesday, he does a meal with the mayor. If you want to know what he's going to eat this week, you should listen to the new episode of AWI Pod Worldwide because at the end, he tells us. But otherwise, you'll never know until Wednesday comes. But yeah, give the mayor a follow. Check him out. Let's check out all other projects. I just talked about AWI Pod Worldwide. We finished off Uncensored 2000. We watched the apple pie strap match, who nobody knows how you win an apple pie strap match, not even me or Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair, and they were in it. Of course, check out The Life and Times of Psycho Sid. Episode 23 is out right now, and Sid is Hulk Hogan in Memphis. And if you want to hear me sing, then listen to that show because I sing on there. And I think that's it, Glenn. I don't have anything else, do I?
No, that's it.
That's it. Now all we need is for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.